What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for December 20th, 2022. All right, so the big news, Jalen Hurts has a sprained shoulder. I'm going to do something I haven't done since the Phillies World Series run. I'm going to tell everybody to take a deep breath. Breathe. First of all, it's a sprain. Not broken. X-rays are negative. I've read a couple different places that had it been, if this was a playoff game or a game that they needed to win, that it was a desperation, a must-win game, he would play. He got hurt in the third quarter. If you look at the play, he fell on it. Okay, the turf was hard. He actually did throw a couple nice passes there in the fourth quarter. So I think in that regard, we lucked out. I'd rather see him just completely rest, get better for the playoffs. That game against Minnesota is coming in huge. We only got to win one more of our games to clinch first round bye and the NFC East. It'll happen. They have the Giants and Saints after the Cowboys game. Breathe. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And I do want to address the people that are saying, oh, well, they put too much. They ran him too much. That's their game plan. Could they have given the ball to Miles Sanders more in that game? Maybe, but I don't know what Sirianni's game plan was. I don't know what they saw with that defense, and neither do you, unless you're in that film room. So relax with the whole, oh, well, they shouldn't run. Listen, nobody was saying anything about it when they were 12-1 before doing the same game plan. That's what they do. They mix it up. One thing that Sirianni is good at, his game plan totally plays into whatever the defense is going to give them. Sometimes that means your quarterback's going to run it 17 times. And he's done that a couple times this year, and everybody was fine with it. Now, all of a sudden, because he's a little sore, and I'm telling you, I'd rather have him healthy for the playoffs. Let him sit out. It's not a big game. And I think if Dougie P and Jacksonville didn't necessarily beat the Cowboys, we might be having a different conversation. But you know what? You're going to win one of your next three games. The likelihood of them losing three in a row, and yeah, I know I'm putting this on tape. I'm throwing out the ultimate jinx, but I don't see it happening. And Minshew isn't necessarily a horrible backup. He's come in and played well. He was a starter in this league. He's never played on a team with this level of offensive talent. And he's sort of that missing link anyway. And I think he's like the perfect guy to come in here and upset the Cowboys in Dallas. Kind of like Coy Detmer. Remember Coy Detmer went into San Francisco? The Eagles were supposed to get blown out when McNabb broke his leg. And all of a sudden, he comes out and he does the whip and everything. I think we're going to be okay. I'm not going on record right now saying we're going to win. It's still too early in the week. But I don't think this is like a game over situation. The defense always was going to have to step up. To me, this was always about what the defense could do against Dak and the offense. They needed to shut them down. And that is still the same case. If they shut them down, you're going to see probably a heavier dose of Miles, Kenny Gainwell, and Boston Scott, everybody getting involved with the running game. Goddard, I think, might be coming back. The last I had heard, like his practice window opened, so I think he has a shot, depending. And if he does, that opens up and helps him out a lot as well. I'll hopefully have more of an update on Goddard tomorrow. But everybody, like I said, breathe. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not broken. He could play if it was a playoff game. So everybody relax. It's going to be okay. And I did want to address something really quick before we get into this day in Philly sports history. The whole Eagles schedule being easy and everything. I saw something the other day and I wanted to point out. Dallas has lost to three teams that have records under 500. Jacksonville, Green Bay, Tampa Bay. Green Bay and Jacksonville were multiple games under 500 when they played. So funny how the whole schedule conversation works out when it's against the Eagles, but now, oh, they're Super Bowl favorites. Yeah, are they? Anyway. All right, Sixers won last night 104-101 in overtime for their fifth in a row. was flipping back and forth between this game, and I don't know what to make of it. They had a big lead. They were right there to ready put the knockout punch on them, and then Toronto got scrappy and fought back, and I'm not really sure what to make. I don't like blaming refs because, I mean, if you'd have handled your business, it doesn't matter what the refs do. There were a lot of questionable calls. You could see they were getting frustrated. Embiid even said as much after the game, but they kept their cool, won it in overtime. 5th in a row, we'll take it. Doc, your seat is cooling down a little bit right now, but it's still pretty lukewarm. But got Maxey coming back. They've now won 5 in a row. Joe and Harden are kind of getting their rhythm together. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come moving forward now that Tyrese should be coming back within the next week or so. So hopefully we've turned the corner, and we'll leave it at that. But we are going to stick with the Sixers. This day in Philly sports history, December 20th, all the way back in 2004, the Sixers lost 103-101 to the Utah Jazz. But AI put in 51. He went 4 from 6 from three-point range, hit another 11 from the free throw line, and even had 7 steals to boot. But this is significant because it was his second straight game of 50-plus points. He's the only Sixer in team history to have back-to-back 50-point games. And until Joel Embiid did it, it was 2000. I think it was 2004 or 2005. This may have been his last 50-point game as a Sixer. He was the last Sixer to score 50 points. So we're talking like 8, 10, 11 years before someone scored 50 points again for the Sixers. So this day back in 2004, AI put up 51 for his second straight 50-point game. Now, that 04-05 team, they started the season, it was Jim O'Brien's first year. Start the season 12-8, or losing 12 of their first 18. They just were not a very good team. They were kind of trying to piecemeal things together. They had Glenn Robinson, who was hurt. They had brought in Corliss Williamson. They ended up trading Williamson for Chris Webber. There was just a lot of moving pieces. I think Iguodala was a rookie on that team. Drew Holiday was there. It was just they were trying to put it together, and they couldn't. They did finally finish 43-39 and got the 7th seed, but they lost in the first round 4-1 to the Pistons, who were coming off winning the championship. AI did win his fourth and final scoring title of his career that year, but Jim O'Brien was fired after bringing them. They missed the playoffs the year before. He brought them to the playoffs. They fired him to. I guess because they always wanted Mo Cheeks. So Mo Cheeks came in the following year. But after this season sort of began, and you could take it back even a couple years further if you want. But after this 04-05 season started 8 years of the Sixers being, we've talked about it before on Back to the Future with the whole tanking question. Basically, they were in NBA purgatory. They were somewhere in that 7 to 13 kind of range where it's like, we're just not good enough to get a high draft pick in the lottery, but hey, maybe we'll make the playoffs and get the 7th or 8th seed and get bounced in the first round. So this is what led to the whole process, Sam Hinkie and everything. Which, if you want to hear my take on tanking and what it means and should teams do it, check out Back to the Future from a couple weeks ago, anywhere you get your podcast. And for a couple of you that have reached out and asked, it's Back to the Future with a PH. I know some people said, well, this is not what I expected. This is about Marty McFly. No, it's Back to the Future with a PH. But like I said, I went in and talked a little bit about tanking and this whole question. I will be recording at some point this week sort of like a Christmas special, preview Dallas, kind of like a hodgepodge of topics for this week. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. But this day in Philly sports history, back in 2004, Sixers lost to the Jazz, but AI put up his second straight 50-point game. Relax, everybody. The Eagles are going to be all right. Go have yourselves a Tuesday. We'll have more of an update tomorrow. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.